Here with Adam and John from Taking Back Sunday.
Yep, that's us.
Hello.
So for those who don't know, you guys are out on tour in support of 20 years of being a band.
That's
Yes.
Right. And so for this tour, you guys are doing something a little bit different. You're playing your debut album, Tell All Your Friends. That's a guarantee every night. And
Yes.
then
Right.
after that, you guys are flipping a coin, and then you're either playing Where You Want to Be
Mm-hmm.
or Louder Now.
Yes.
So why did you guys decide on those two albums?
Well, the reason we went with those albums was because they were all like extremely pivotal in just kind of changing the course of our lives, you know, and it's kind of so, and being as that we're celebrating 20 years of being a band, you know, we wanted to be able to go to the people that made it possible, and a lot of them have been with us, you know, since the very beginning. So we figured those three are would be the best to choose from.
And as far as deciding, you guys are flipping a coin.
Yeah, like started as a joke actually, to do a coin flip, but then we just followed through. So yeah, we had these coins made by our buddy Rusty, who's in a band called H2O, and he one side says Where You Want to Be, which is our second record, and the other side says Louder Now. So if we're in a city for 2 nights, then the first night we flip the coin, and then and play whatever the coin landed on, and then the second night we play the record that the coin didn't land on.
Okay, and in a case like today,
Yeah.
Montreal, you guys are only doing one show.
Yeah, so only one show in Montreal. So what we've done on the nights to where we're only in the city for one night is we start with Tell All Your Friends. And then rather than doing a coin flip, just we basically just try to play a great mix of everything. And that way, because there's only so much time we have up there, so so we try to fit everything in.
Okay, and so by playing full albums, you guys are playing songs that either you have never played live before up until this tour,
Yeah.
or songs that you rarely play.
Yes.
What was it like going back to those songs and preparing them for a live show?
Well, it for me personally, it was a real interesting thing, because some of the songs, you know, not that I'd forgotten about them, but it's almost like there's certain ones to where I thought, oh man, like this is crazy, we haven't played this in so long, you know, and almost even with different ones, not being as we're revisiting them and we're all in different points in our lives, you know, you kind of start to notice that they take on this new meaning, you know, and there's kind of like which is what I think is so cool about any kind of music, really, is you can look at it, you're always looking at it through a different lens. So that was something that was interesting for me. And then John, you know, I mean, he had to learn a good handful of songs that he'd never played before. So
Yeah, there was like, I think 5 songs off of Where You Want to Be.
yeah,
I'd
that
never
we just
played with
never
you
done.
guys, and maybe 4 or so from Louder Now. Can't remember. Yeah, it was like a good amount of songs, and then also those are ones I wasn't involved in recording, so they were really new to me, and but it was it's a cool thing. I'm glad I got to really get to know how to play those songs, because in the past there would be some of those like requests from people from like some of the more obscure songs from those albums, and there was just no chance we were gonna play it back then, because it's not, we'd have to sit down and all learn this song, like for me and Sean, from scratch. But now, like, we've got those in the catalog, so I think like going forward we can throw in some of the more, you know, obscure tracks here and there when people ask for it, so that's fun.
Yeah.
And so you guys mentioned that you guys had to relearn some of the songs.
Yeah.
Did you guys find yourself adding different aspects to it, like whether it be a new drum fill or...
Oh, sure. Mark especially.
Yeah, he's been adding a lot,
yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, which is really great, because it's like showcasing kind of what he's capable of, you know, because we, like, over the years, I'd like to think we've all gotten a lot better at our instruments, so there's definitely things that'll change, you know, I think for the better.
Yeah, there's a couple of songs, I'd say like maybe 3 or 4 now, that as we've been going on tour, there's some moments that we just started kind of improvising on,
Yeah.
and they've become a set part of the song now.
Yeah, and extending. Yeah, which is
Yeah.
just a whole lot of fun, because then you also have the opportunity to stretch your limbs a bit, you know.
Can you give us some examples of those songs?
Well, like in a song off of Tell All Your Friends, Head Club, there's oh no.
Yeah, in Head Club, there's that one part that was one of the first ones we started doing, like
So,
right before the big outro part.
Yeah, like we just kind of extended that part, and then after we did it just kind of because it felt right and it was a fun thing to do, and then after that first night we're like, we should keep expanding on that. So then it's also a fun moment in the set for us, you know, to where cut loose a bit.
And I saw a video clip from a couple of days ago where you guys improvised and you added in a cover of Weezer's.
Yeah.
My Name's Jonas.
Yeah, that came about. Mark, our drummer, suggested that we try to play it, and surprisingly everyone knew how to play it. Like, it was the first time we tried it, and we just did that during sound check one day. So then the next day it was like, should we just play that during the set? So we just put it in, and it went very well.
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys have also released a compilation album called
20, yeah.
When it came to choosing those songs, was a coin involved, or
Oh,
did
no.
you guys...
Well, we do everything in the band very democratically. So the idea we came up with was just everyone make their own list, and then we'll compare all of them. And we found that when we came to comparing the list, they were like really similar, you know, just very few differences here and there. So it was actually a much easier process than I think any of us were expecting, you know, because over the years you kind of in touring, like, you know, kind of like what songs people are really expecting to hear. So and that was, I think, something that we all went on.
Yeah, I feel like we've been kind of before we were doing this whole year of album plays, we were a lot of times playing, I think, what essentially would be kind of a greatest hits set. So I think we all approached the track listing for 20 in a similar way of like, what is it that we play that we would know people are going to be psyched to hear. So I think that made it pretty easy, having that reference point of all these years of playing through, you know, our entire catalog. So it's nice.
And there are also 2 new songs on the album.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys write them specifically for 20, or did you have them kind of just floating around?
Well, a song for Dan, Mark actually started working on that right around the time we started touring for our last record, Tidal Wave. And like, it's one of those things, like, he would always be on his phone and you think he's like on social media or playing a game or something, but he's really just sampling and composing on GarageBand. So he was so when it came time, we knew we wanted to have something on 20 that was like at least something new, you know, and so that one immediately just poked its head out, and it was really just a matter of putting words and a melody to it, and John actually had something that worked great. So that's how that came about. And then we had done like just kind of some demoing back and forth, just because John and I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Mark and Sean live in Long Beach, New York. So Mark and Sean would go into the studio and then send the files to us, and then we would do our thing to them and send them back, and we would do it like that. And All Ready to Go was one of those songs. So then, like, when we finalized 20 and we knew we were going to release it, we're like, well, let's get in the studio and just add these 2 since we have them here. And that's what we did, you know. Then John and or Mark and Sean came down to studio that we work at in Charlotte, and we just hashed out the minor details. And
And speaking of festivals, you guys were a part of Warped Tour
yeah,
a couple of years. How did you guys feel when you found out that it was no more?
I mean, it was kind of strange because for us, you know, it had been around. I mean, it was a staple. It's like every year you knew Warped Tour was going to come through. So it was felt like a bit of a change in that way, just to see like the summer shows that are going around and to not see that, you know, because it was just such an important part of I guess kind of like the scene that we came up in. But we did play. They did like a 25th anniversary, one on the East Coast and one on the West Coast, and we got to play the one on the East Coast in Atlantic City, which was really great because they really got to go all out, you know, like rotating stage, and so it was pretty cool.
Favorite memories from being on the Warped Tour?
My absolute favorite memory involves Tucker Rule. He plays drums for Thursday. Right now he's playing with Frank Aero, and we have played what's it called in New York, the New York Warped Tour, that it's like on an island.
Oh, Governor's Island?
No, not Governor's Island.
Randall's Island?
Randall's Island. Okay, so it was on Randall's Island, and on those days most everybody would go like once the show was done, because the show normally ended around like 9 or like 8:39. So most everybody it's like a mass exodus, like goes into the city. And but I had stayed back, so I was just sitting in like a camping chair like right outside of the front door of the bus, and I kind of hear like this rumbling in the distance, and like I'm looking around, I'm like, what is that? And there are like all these bushes, and then out of nowhere you just see Tucker full speed on this like kind of like off-road golf cart come flying through the bushes. He's driving with his knee, he's like a drink in his hand, a cigarette in the other. He's like, hey man, and I'm just sitting there, and he zips by. I was like, that's crazy, I wonder how I got that. And then a couple minutes later, here comes their tour manager at the time. He comes speeding up, and he like skids to a halt. He's like, you seen Tucker? He went that way. And he speeds off, and that was the last I heard about it. But I just thought that was just one of those fun moments, you know, you feel like you're in some kind of funny movie or something.
Okay, and so for the rest of the year, you guys are continuing with this tour?
Yes.
And after that, what can fans expect?
Well, so we finish this tour, ends up in the middle of November, and then we do these 2 holiday shows in at the Starland Ballroom in New Jersey. This will be the 6th year.
I think so.
Yeah.
This sounds right.
Right, 5th or 6th year.
6th annual.
So we call it the Holiday Spectacular, and which is always real fun because everyone there is so kind, and we know everyone there pretty well now. But so like we play the first night, and then the next day we have like a bunch of local vendors come, and we open up the venue, and then we do like an acoustic show and like photos with Santa, and then we play the show that second night. And so we all look forward to that every year, and a lot of the proceeds go to charity. So and then after that we're very excited to get into the studio and just to write, you know, just to, because this is great, and this tour has been absolutely incredible, you know. But at a certain point you kind of start, I know for me, like just kind of like chomping at the bit to like just get in there and create, you know, and it's one of all of our favorite things to do, so we're looking forward to that next year.
Okay, all right, and that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you.